Walking Dead Season 4 finale episode. It picks up right off the bat. Now, with it confusing me because it talked about the moment before the governor came in and destroyed the prison. It was honestly the moment which did lead Rick to becoming a farmer, in which it was that Herschel was really adamant about the idea of Rick becoming a farmer. And it's like, and Rick told Herschel that honestly, you could get a lot more people here to pretty much do this. I mean, honestly, they did have a lot of people that they did save from Woodcrest, Woodbury. The name escapes me, but who that they did get from where the governor's town was, and they did bring them over to the prison. So it did kind of raise a few questions to me of like, how come they couldn't get a few of these people to also come in and help them farm and dig up the land and everything, or at least plow up the land so that they could farm. However, the biggest reason why Herschel wanted Rick to farm was because he wanted to give Carl a positive, wanted to switch up the feeling a little bit and actually make it so that Carl doesn't necessarily have to go out and be crazy and everything and go out and be killing zombies, because it does have a negative effect on people after a while. So he figured that it'll be a change of pace until the inevitable moment in which that we know, which kind of led to what's going on now. However, from that, it goes on to, we do see Rick, Carl, and Michonne going through the woods and all that, and it was a moment in which that they wanted to save this guy who was attacked by zombies, but you can't save an idiot who's out there just running around yelling at the top of his lungs and didn't run through the obvious open patch, which was on the left. But and this episode truthfully does pick up when the people who were traveling with Daryl actually kind of close in and actually they do entrap Carl, Rick, and Michonne and all that. And it turns into a thing of them talking about, Daryl tries to talk to them saying that these are good people, but they're not going to have it, saying that's a lie because they strangled their friend in a bathroom to death. However, I really got to ask that question. It's like, these people really aren't all that good either, because they just beat a man to death and shot him in the face with a with a crossbow just because he told a lie. And that's the thing. And it's like, I get it, but you're not all that good either. And it turned into a thing of that. It was honestly really uncomfortable to pretty much look at it, but I could honestly tell that Rick was at that point in which that he was trying to reasonably talk to them, aside from go all psycho murderer he was around the end of season 2, in which that he became so kind of thrust into the world, in which that he became somewhat of what the governor was, a deranged psychopath. And that is something in which that he was trying to keep locked away. But then as it goes on, or at least as this exchange goes, that they end up releasing it. And it goes as far as to see Rick bite a man's throat out with his fucking teeth, and then stab a man, or fucking just stab a man to death. Well, honestly, they kind of pushed him to fucking release the beast all over their asses. So hey, he was trying to reasonably talk to them, but they kind of really didn't get the message all the way up to the point in which that he stabbed his friend to death. Or it's like he stabbed the one guy who was trying to, I believe he was trying to rape Carl. Strange. And he stabbed his ass to death, and I do kind of agree with that. However, he stabbed him over 20 something times, maybe even more, and they fucking threw their bodies away. Well, now, as soon as he bit his throat, well, as soon as Rick bit out the old guy's throat, that's when everybody else started jumping into ass beating mode, with Michonne shooting the other guy who had her at gunpoint in the head, and Daryl stomping a man's face in. So there is that. And as this episode kind of goes on, after this horrible night, because as it comes back on, it is still kind of have that little lingering moment of like, what did Rick do to be covered in blood sitting outside of this car? And we finally know that now, because he had to protect his friends and family. So there is that. And honestly, as this episode it does go on, we do kind of get a few insights upon what do these characters think of one another. It's kind of like how Rick looks at Daryl as if he was his brother, or at least like he tells him that. And Carl is actually afraid of his father and of Michonne, even though he pretty much calls himself a monster, because he does go out and, he does kill people, and there is a need for him to go out and save people. And honestly, I can pretty much see that. I mean, I can see how all of these characters can call themselves monsters, but at the same time, that's not really being a monster. It's just being cautious. And also Michonne, she does kind of go into talking about like what happened to her old boyfriend and her son and her boyfriend's friend upon when they got bitten, and what led her to lead zombies around on a chain. Stuff like that. And truthfully, it is a very touching moment, but at the same time, it turns into a whole thing of like, they finally reach Terminus. Rick does take a few precautions of hiding guns out in the wilderness, which honestly I do kind of see that as like a smart thing. But as we do enter Terminus, we do slowly kind of see what kind of place this is, especially since that as Rick is like sizing these people up, he's also looking for their defenses, and honestly, he's slowly realizing some things in which that this is a place it's a thieves' den. Terminus is a thieves' den. Even though they may have perimeters all around the building, they openly let people in, because there are so many of them in which that they openly just let people in, and then after a while, I would assume that they just steal from them, or possibly that they give them food and then just either drug them and then steal their stuff, or they just outright kill them. Or that's kind of what it seems like that this place is, because they have Glenn's riot armor, they have Maggie's poncho. They even have Herschel's watch, which is actually something in which that it's like the riot gear, maybe. The poncho, maybe. But the watch, now that is the 100% giveaway in which that these people are honestly just thieves who pretty much just want to take everything they have and then just lock them away. Or possibly they could be cannibals who honestly, because they're obviously getting the meat from somewhere, because she was giving out plates of ribs and everything, and it's like, there are no pigs around here, there's no cows around here, where are you getting the meat? And also there are a few of them, so possibly this could be a cannibalistic place in which that they do rob people and then kill them and then keep them locked away and then steal their fucking meat away, or at least like kill them and then use them as sustenance. There's always that. And it's a thing of like, you really got to ask the biggest question about Terminus. However, with how this is going though, Rick, they all do get captured after running away and kind of confronting them about all of the things that they stole, and then they tell them to go sit in this train car, and that's when we meet up with Glenn and Maggie, Glenn and Maggie's group of what's going on there. And Rick hasn't given up hope now because the Beast is out and pretty much he's planning on going on another killing spree. And how this is going, it ends with Rick saying that they're pretty much messing with the wrong people. And I would honestly believe it because how their mindset is now, or at the very least how Rick's mindset is now. He's out. He possibly could. He could be out. He could be out for blood. And honestly, he is one of those main characters who does have the tenacity and does have the drive to make it out of any situation if you give him enough time for it. So there is that. So for this season finale, it was a plus. I loved looking at it, and it was one of my high marks in this season. So honestly, I do recommend this entire season to anyone who wants to look at it. And until next season comes along, as I do hear that they are filming season 5 now. Plus side is that we all do get to look at that possibly next year. So till then, I'll catch you guys on the next John Grave Show. So please keep watching anime, keep playing video games, and tell me what did you think of this season finale down there in the comment section. I will catch you next time. All right, have a good one.